Here we are, my friends. We are live on this very special day where we say to you and the entire country and the entire world, happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America. Absolutely.
Can you pep it up a little bit there?
Well, you know what? I was just looking at a note that everyone can rest assured today that Joey Chestnuts is back in action at Coney Island. And
did he win?
After a 1-year hiatus, remember the kerfuffle last year because he was representing a vegan brand. They kicked him out. He won today.
Good.
70.5 hot dogs and buns consumed, but did not break his all-time record of 75. But all of us rest assured, it's good to see Joey Chestnuts back in action.
Chestnuts. By the way, do you think maybe after that? Can you imagine the next day?
Stop.
Imagine the next day.
I have to be off camera.
Why? Joey Chestnuts. Sounds like a mob name. Come on, honey. Let them see your hilarity.
No. Say it.
Joey Chestnuts.
Say it.
Oh, say it. You old bat.
Okay, let me try
There we
for
go.
our wonderful
Joey
listeners
Chestnuts.
and
There's that
no,
flubber.
no, stop. We have to be professionals.
It's the 4th of July. What are we going to be professional
Say
about?
it.
Say it. You old
All right.
bat.
All right, let me get control. Please. People
Listen to this.
sharing their beautiful time with us.
This-
Excuse me, everybody. I had a momentary lapse in professional.
We had.
It's been a week. I'm sorry.
We ran out. Went by a saw or Baba got some gas in the Yugo.
Oh my goodness.
Tore off to we had a great little lunch. I'm serious. Cheesecake Factory. Phenomenal.
I'm sorry.
Except for those kids who were screaming.
Okay, I have a different view a little bit. If children are running around physically and not on devices and not on phones, and not on, let them run around, scream and play, because that's where we're at in society. Now, frankly,
a little loud though.
Okay,
they can talk, just don't scream.
Well, that was up to their father, who was there to say,
But anyway,
use your inside voices.
So anyway, so we went. We had to go. Say it. So we had to. We went to Macy's to buy something.
I had to grab something, and I dragged you out, and I said, Macy's is open today. Let's run over to Macy's and grab it.
And we had this very nice young lady who was such a great,
wonderful
cosmetics person.
Customer service. She was lovely.
And I asked her, I said, do you have anybody we can compliment you to? She says, yes, my manager's at Reservoir. Bring him over.
Yeah.
And I let him have it. Now, I said, this girl was fantastic. Young Indian lady. I think she's of Indian descent. Absolutely so thorough, so terrific, so wonderful.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But we do that. We compliment people. The list is short. When somebody does great customer service or they're friendly, or we always make sure we
forget the thing where you
go the extra step.
Where they take the thing and you circle it.
The survey? No, we're not doing that. They're collecting our information for AI. Oh, I have to calm down after this.
So anyway,
Diddy week.
To make a long story short, so as we were doing all this,
yes,
I looked at we had like a gift card and they subtracted this and something was sale. Anyway, guess what? The grand total after all the discounts and all this stuff and the sales and the gift cards, the total was $1,776.
Odd. Seriously, very strange.
Now let me ask you something.
Very strange.
Do you believe? Do you honestly?
Very strange.
Understand what's going on? Do you? Do you think that is somehow?
It's oddest amount, isn't it?
Well, do you think that is does that mean anything?
Yes.
Who thinks it means something? I think it's randomness, but it is unique.
I disagree. I think it means something on a day like today, and it's a very odd amount. So, what are these beautiful people saying on the 4th of July?
We're just glad to be here. We say God bless America. The president signed his big, beautiful bill.
Yes, his BBB was signed into action law today. Mm-hmm.
I think it's good. I know it's not going to be perfect, but if it makes him happy, that's fine. That's fine. There were a lot of, what did you hear about Planned Parenthood? And
A lot of them are out of business,
Yes.
closing doors. Yes, that's what I heard. I'll leave it at that. But listen, anytime anything is bothersome to us or not to our liking, we have to remember what the alternative
Oh,
could
absolutely.
have been, and we'll snap right out of it. That's what
Absolutely.
I say. That's what I say.
Explain, if you could, my darling, the victory you and your colleagues and the Warriors had this week when Marsha Blackburn and the Republicans came to their senses regarding the AI moratorium.
Well, first of all, we'll explain this a little bit, but let me just say thank you. I've had many, many warriors reach out to me. You may be on here. When I was urging in a 48-hour period to call, email, text, whatever you could do to go after members of the Senate, your representatives, to help us with this moratorium. I'm not going to bore everybody with the story, but in the BBB bill, the big beautiful bill, Ted Cruz decided to attach this 10-year AI moratorium, meaning we need to let AI run amok for 10 years and nobody can touch them. Them, I say. This AI, all of this AI, right? And he attached it, he held hostage a broadband bill that was giving underserved communities, vulnerable areas in the United States, internet service. That's basically what it amounts to. He attached this AI moratorium to that. So the poor people, the poor communities wouldn't get their broadband if this AI was not allowed to run amok. Nobody, Democrats, Republicans, nobody could understand this whatsoever. This did not belong in this big, beautiful bill at all.
So the idea was they held it hostage by saying, let's take this wonderful provision that provides almost like Starlink, if you will, for the rest of the country, and let us append and contaminate it and Christmas tree with something that has absolutely
that's what I'm trying to say.
Nothing to do with it.
Yes.
So it's called Christmas tree, where you take something and you start adding things on, and you take something which is, let's say, a defense appropriations bill or something that's good and valid, and then you add something on, and you figure, well, I don't want to destroy the whole bill, so I'll reluctantly have to vote for this added on amendment. In any event, everybody turned on Ted Cruz. He is not to be trusted, according to many groups and coalitions. Again, bipartisan. Nobody could believe he was doing this. Everybody came out in full force. This is the power. This is truly, I always say all of the work we do at the Warriors is bipartisan. I will say to you, we know reality. A lot of things are still weaponized, right? I truly saw tremendous bipartisan coalitions coming together. It was a 48-hour period of everybody, day in and day out, getting all of our followers, getting all of our coalitions together, getting parents who have stood in front of Congress and Ted Cruz. Now, here's kind of the rub in the whole thing. Before I finish the story, we all stood, many of us. Well, not many of us. I was very lucky to be invited and stand in the Rose Garden just a few short weeks ago with Ted Cruz, who co-sponsored the Take It Down Act, holding platforms, responsible if they did not take down sexual content within 48 hours. So he did that along with Marsha Blackburn, and it was the first piece of child safety legislation since 1998, right, with the internet, okay? And everybody was thrilled. Now, a few weeks later, he turns. Nobody to this day can understand what he was doing. Then Marsha Blackburn stepped up, and shockingly, she said, okay, well, I want to work, something out. Let's make it 5 years. So then she was going along with 5 years. I'm here to tell you, not 1 minute with an AI moratorium is valid. And everybody was up in arms about Marsha Blackburn. But by the time I woke up at 2 a.m., I went to sleep for about 1 hour to rest. She had reversed it, and she stood her ground. Everybody came out attacking, and she listened to the parents. She listened to her work she has done extensively for child safety and families, and she said, I will not promote this, endorse this. It needs to go. And it went to a vote, 99-1. Tom Tillis is the only one who voted against it. Therefore, it got kicked out, not part of the BBB, Big Beautiful Bill. However, we will share in this great momentous occasion for the next few days. We must keep our eye on this because AI, they don't give up. This is the future. Ted Cruz is not to be trusted. Everybody knows this now.
And I am sure there's a little bit of, scuttlebutt kind of talk.
Now, let me say something.
Let me just say that he will reintroduce this separately somehow. But for now, nobody can really understand why Ted Cruz did this.
Let me explain something to you. Freedom, ladies and gentlemen, freedom says, thank you, freedom. Freedom says, let's never forget them who have kept us free. My father, a World War II veteran. I love you always and forever. Your only son. Happy 4th of July to both of you, great patriots. Thank you for this. Thank you, freedom.
Thank you.
Let me say something which is the most important.
But before you start, can you hold that thought?
Mm-hmm.
I am doing this work, as you are, to uphold those freedoms. Do you agree with me on that?
Oh, yes.
I'm not doing this because I'm jumping on a bandwagon or it's the flavor of the month. I am doing this to preserve America, trying to protect kids, protect families, teach about the runaway trains of everything going on in society. That is to uphold why we're celebrating today.
Now, let me, if I could bring something up here. First, when you say this, some people will say, well, you just figured out that Ted Cruz can't be trusted. We're talking about Ted Cruz regarding a bill, follow me on this one, that he said I was going to follow and then changed his mind at the last minute. Anybody who does this. Now, Ted Cruz, as of late, was absolutely pilloried, dismembered, dismantled, emasculated by Tucker Carlson as to other matters. And he has lost in many of our eyes.
Yeah.
But regarding this case, he said he was going to, he was one of the sponsors. By the way, Cruz was good. Blumenthal was good. Lindsey Graham at time was good.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Klobuchar was good.
Yes, Amy Klobuchar does a lot of child safety.
Let me say this, because I know everybody sits back. They have absolutely no idea about actual bills. Not you, mind you, but different legislation that's going up. And they will have this blanketed statement like, okay, we hate Ted Cruz or we like Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever. It's more complicated than that. Every now and then, somebody will say something that really makes sense. And as far as the Warriors are concerned, I don't mean to speak for you, if they say something that actually benefits the cause, you will say, good for you. Nobody's signing on to let's trust all the politicians. Because I know somebody said, Alex Jones has been talking about Ted Cruz.
No, I'm not going there talking about.
We know this.
Let me
this is the mentality of somebody who doesn't know what we're talking about. We're not talking about in general. We're talking about a particular bill that he changed his mind at the last minute.
This is the biggest thing I come up against at the Warriors. We are committed to be truly bipartisan when it comes to child safety, family safety. Doesn't matter what I think personally, right? It matters about that piece of legislation at that time, that take action at that time. So if somebody is a Democrat and they're doing good work, I'm with them. If somebody's a Republican and they're doing good work, I'm with them. And people can't understand that. It is about that immediate legislation and take action. And I wish more people could think like this, because then we could advance a lot of these things in Washington much better. And this is the problem, a big problem, what goes on with legislation.
Excellent. Now, what is everyone doing today? Let us go through a list. First of all, where are you from? Where are you and what are you doing? And this requires, as you would imagine, maybe the incorporation of a sentence, an actual sentence, a series of words that, when stitched together, is roughly coherent. So what, dear friends, are you doing today? How are you celebrating this? And here's the question. How many countries have a 4th of July?
You love that.
I've been asking that.
You bring that one out every year.
Please see this video. Hang on.
No, I don't think I could take that.
It is the funniest video. I'm sorry. I know you're not one for raucous, mean, vile, profane videos. I want to give you this video. I'm going to just, it is to me, if this doesn't make you laugh, I'm going to give this to you now. Please don't play it. Don't play this around children. We don't necessarily prefer or recommend the particular language, but I'm going to put this. Please, this is not from you, it's from me. Watch this in the privacy of your own home, and when this finally gets up there, tell me this is not funny. Tell me this is not funny. That's all I'm saying. In any event, so what are we doing here? Somebody says from Rhode Island they're doing nothing.
Well, judging by the streets in New Jersey, I think everybody was at the Jersey Shore.
There's nobody in the city.
It was kind of empty, and the city's kind of empty. Maybe they went out to the beaches of Long Island.
Edie is watching right now from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I am watching the coolest couple in the USA. That is correct.
Edie,
thank you so
we
much.
love you, Edie. Thank you very much. Edie's a warrior.
Susie says, I'm eating barbecue chicken and potato salad, strawberry pie for dessert.
There you go. That's the American way, everybody.
Chuck Sarica said, I am nude in Bar Harbor, Maine, hanging with the 1776 Patriots.
In the nude?
Yes, in the nude.
Okay.
Albert says, I picked up trash along the interstate and got many honks. The Arby's manager bought me lunch. It does nothing, Arby's is still hanging in there.
Good for them and good for doing this community service, but were you under arrest or something?
No, it's part of a work. Yes.
Part of a work study program?
He's a trustee.
Oh, okay.
Smiling Sue says, I'm eating chip chocolate. I think she means chocolate chip. That's it. It's good.
Sounds good.
Mary says, home.
Maybe it's I am home.
I know, honey. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I just think nobody. I am in Tromaville, New Jersey. Tromaville. You ever been Tromaville?
No, I don't know about Tromaville.
Tromaville.
Where's Tromaville?
It says Tromaville. And I'm watching around this. This is Rick Rohr. Freaks putting politics on events. This is terrific. See what everybody's doing.
No, but it's a good day just to, be calm, take a breath.
Mike Cooney says, in New Jersey, doing yard work and watching the Mets beat the Yankees. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, that's a good.
Southern Indiana. What Ted Cruz is so backstabbing? Cloudy? You have no idea. Watching YouTube from indoors because it's a rainy day in Texas. How about?
Oh my goodness, that was on my list too.
Jeez.
I heard about this girls' Christian camp. They're missing 23 girls. Their cabin floated away.
Washed away.
26 of them.
Unbelievable.
What is going on there?
A Christian. I mean, if that's not protect, I don't want to get into the protect. What a horror.
How did 26 of them go?
Horror.
They're unprepared, I guess, or hit in the middle of the night. What happened?
Let me read this. Why don't you?
Oh my goodness.
Let me read.
Well, we've got that. No, but that's very upsetting. Well, I've spent most of. I don't want to bring it up, everybody, but we're far from over with the one Sean Combs case. So I just.
Ooh, have you been hot on that one?
Well, we just completed 8 weeks on Crime Stories with Nancy Grace every single day. Left no stone unturned. You have to understand why this is such an important story.
By the way, before you do that, real quickly, just the latest. At least 13 families were reported Friday as devastating floods slammed Texas's hill country, with water rescues taking place along the Guadalupe River.
Yeah.
The Kerr County Sheriff's Office said during a news briefing that 13 people have died in the flooding. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said about 6 to 10 bodies have been found and that the situation is fluid and ongoing. Fluid and ongoing. He said he expects the fatality count to rise. Within 45 minutes, the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
And was a destructive flood, taking property and sadly lives. 45 minutes, 26 feet. Adding that they got 12 inches or more of rain per hour. There are hundreds of people on the ground from various units helping with search and rescue operations, Patrick said.
What about the girls?
Including swimmers in the water, 12 drones, and 14 helicopters. Let me see this.
I read not too long ago, 26 girls were missing from... I want to talk about this first before I go into it, because this is...
Here we go. This is how terrible this is. Just a minute. As many as 23 girls are missing from a Christian summer camp west of Kerrville and third is in Hunt, Texas, and 13 deaths have been confirmed amid catastrophic floods that hit central Texas during overnight storms. Unbelievable.
We have to pray for these children. I mean, for everybody, but these children.
I don't want to talk about weather manipulation. I have no basis to say that, no reason to think that, no facts of this.
I don't know, 26
but
feet.
26 feet in 45 minutes?
That sounds
unbelievable.
Scientifically strange to me.
Horrible. Now go ahead
Although
about
I'm not a
it.
scientist.
Diddy.
I want everybody to understand, I don't want everybody in society to close their eyes to the Sean Combs. One, as I have referred to for 7 weeks straight, is Dirty Diddy, but Sean Combs, because now it's very serious. That case is the prime example. That case, everybody, it's not about one man. That case was not about one man. It was about all the silenced victims and survivors of all forms of sexual exploitation around the country. They were waiting for somebody to be held responsible in a power of position, wealth, and once again, let down. And I don't want to hear the arguments. We may differ on a few facts here. People do not understand what sex trafficking is. People don't have a comprehension. It is going to be my goal right now to reform what that meaning of sex trafficking is. And the justice system itself does not understand sex trafficking. They do not understand trauma bonding, trauma, psychological damage, sexual servitude, because traditionally it is always given out. What is human trafficking? Force for coercion. People just rattle it off. What does that really mean? The coercion part is what people do not understand. We have to do a better job of educating everybody about that, and also the justice system, so that the law can apply to that. This was clearly a case, that Cassie video, over and over and over again. But I want to remind everybody, no matter what I think about this case, and it did a tremendous disservice to victims, survivors, that again, this creep, perv, whatever you want to call him, dirty Diddy, degenerate, depravity, dumpster fire, I want to remind everybody that he is in jail today. He still has charges against him. He is a criminal.
He has not been sentenced yet for the Mann Act case.
Okay,
that may be.
Well, isn't he still a criminal?
Oh, he
Am
will
I supposed to say alleged?
I think he will be formally adjudicated and to be a convicted felon. He might be a sex. I think being a pimp might put him on a sex.
A pimp. He is the face.
But I'm wondering if that qualifies him for the sex registry.
But here's what I want to say about all this. So I don't want everybody in the world I'm in, but I want everybody in the public to understand we need more clarification, education, and reform about what's sex trafficking, what human trafficking. And I'm going to include labor trafficking in this. It's all connected. Very complex issues. What a victim may look like. I don't care if somebody took a payment. I don't care if somebody was tweeting, sending messages, going back to that person. You know what? The justice system also does not understand. And the fact that the 12 jurors, I'm tired of hearing, well, what he got was better than nothing. We'll leave it at that. But I want everybody to know today he's sitting in a jail cell, and his family fully expected they were preparing for him to come home to Star Island in Florida. They were getting ready, and that did not happen. So good news, the judge did not grant him bail. You may disagree with me on that. Mm-hmm. He can sit and rot in that disgusting, horrible place in Brooklyn. And the thing is, I want to know about his right-hand woman, Christina Coram. I've been asking about her for months, since Dirty Diddy was arrested. Drock. And I call him D-Rock. Drock. You call him Drock.
D-Rock.
It's called D-Rock. It's called D-Rock.
Between D-Rock and the hard place.
Christina Coram. Let me try to be a professional, okay? Christina Coram was his right hand for 10 years. They grilled the state, I guess it's called, right? So many people regarding Dirty Diddy. They were not called to the witness stand. She was with him for 10 years. They showed all of her text messages between Cassie, between the Jane Doe, between other employees, where she's acknowledging transporting drugs, cleaning up after drugs, cleaning up hotel rooms, cleaning up after beatings, telling women to calm down after they were beaten, all kinds of things. She was complicit, is complicit. Why is she allowed to walk free? Why is Duroc, bodyguard, driver, whatever they're calling him, these people are all on record as transporting drugs, being part of this, complicit. To me, this is a criminal empire. I'm sorry, this story is not done, and we have to do a job of keeping it in the news. The story just doesn't end. Now, I know he's getting officially sentenced. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
October. I also heard, I heard it from Nancy Grace, actually, in 3 business days.
In October.
No, but I heard
Wait, I know.
something about, okay, yes, I'm confused. Today's, I thought it was Saturday, but it's Friday
Right.
today.
I think it's Saturday. Yeah.
I know, today's not a business day then. It's a national holiday, but a federal holiday. 3 business days, so that would be like, what, next Wednesday? Something about his side. The defense was going to present something to the judge. They're trying to get him out. So we'll see how this plays out. You believe he will get some sort of light sentence, correct?
Yes.
There's a maximum of 10 years for the 2 counts of the Mann Act, transporting in order to engage in prostitution. That's a total of 20 years. You believe what? What do you think his sentence will be?
That's the total number.
That's the total.
That's
maximum.
possible.
Yes.
But under the federal sentencing guidelines, he has no prior record. There's not a lot of, I don't want to say violence involved in the Mann Act case. You can argue one way or the other.
So what do you think his?
3 years max, 1.5 to 3 years, with 10 months credit for time served.
Well, Dirty Diddy's been running around New York City, because you know I always talk about this, for decades now, at least since the early 90s. I don't know why he hasn't ever been arrested before. He came close that time throwing guns out, allegedly, of windows of cars on 8th Avenue from the club that time with J-Lo. We never heard her voice in any of this. We never heard from a lot of people in any of this. Did you know he dated Cameron Diaz?
That's what you told me today.
No. And now I remembered the whole thing. We never heard a peep out of her. This was after J-Lo. So that would have been, 2002 to 2003. But the issue here, what I want everybody to understand why this is so important, he didn't do any of this on his own. This was such a slap in the face to survivors and victims of any sort of sexual assault, exploitation. I wish people could understand what this is really about. Where are all the other people complicit? Why are they allowed to walk free? And he'll have time served. Maybe he'll spend about a year in jail? Maybe that's it. We have to keep talking about this story. We have to do it for the victims and survivors all over. It's not just about Diddy and all these people. It's about everybody. And we have to work hard with the justice system for reform, okay, and public education reform and new thinking on what actually sex trafficking is, because people do not understand what it is.
I don't think that he should get away with murder. I just think these were the wrong charges. This was the wrong forum.
I'm agreeing with that.
And Maureen Comey threw it. She threw it. Why don't you have KK, her nickname? Why don't you have KK and D-Rock on? Why didn't you do this?
Well,
why didn't you at least charge somebody out of this entire criminal? When was the last time everybody heard of remember Giuliani's big commission trial, big racketeering trial against all the mob? When was the last time you heard one person, 2 people?
Well, he really came up with RICO, right?
No.
Sort of.
He was the first one. Robert Blakey, the law professor from
I thought you meant the other
Notre
Robert
Dame.
Blake from
No, not Robert Blake. Robert Blakey. But he pretty much
utilized it,
he
right?
insured off. Yeah, he used it.
Because it was not really known then. But here's the
But
thing.
it looks like they threw it. It's like they wanted to. I don't know what the purpose is. She was the same one who came up with Ghislaine Maxwell as the only person involved in the Epstein case.
Yeah,
come on,
connect the dots. But here's what I want to say. I agree with you about the charges. It hurts me to say that because I do believe it was sex trafficking. I really do. I'm not a lawyer. I believe it was sex trafficking. It is. We know from our work at the Warriors, it is tough to prove this, especially when there are no minors involved. Again, little bell goes off. We always heard, I don't have proof. We always heard there were minors, right? We didn't see or hear anything about that. But sex trafficking is very difficult in the courts to prove. Why didn't they go with all that drug stuff? Why didn't they go with the guns, the weapons that were found with filed off serial numbers?
Yep.
Easy to get convictions. Again, and I'm not a lawyer. At least we could put him away. And they did not do that. So now my wheels are turning. This Maureen Comey, she got some splaining to do.
Through it.
I'm not happy. People have
Why
to look
does
into her.
Pam Bondi let her? Why is she still
Why
at
is
the
she
DOJ?
still in the DOJ? That's my next thing. Why wasn't she given the boot? Didn't I hear somewhere along the line when Pam Bondi took over and Trump took over, they were going to get rid of her? Am I imagining
They were
that?
going to get rid of all of
Yes.
the U.S. attorneys, and then as far as the lessers in command's a different story. Here's the bottom line. Maureen Comey gets to see all of the evidence, all of the investigations that may not actually make it to court, but she gets to see everything. By the way, July 19th.
I'll be there.
July 19th at the Cutting Room.
Please, everybody, if you're in the New York metropolitan area, please come out and see us and spend time with us and let us talk about, what we have to talk about. I don't care if you live in New York City or not, because this will affect all of us eventually, is
ABZ, anybody but Zoran.
This cannot happen. This cannot happen because this is a test for the rest of the country. It's happening.
Let's address those people who say, why don't you leave?
Why should I leave? Why all the criminals should leave? All the other ones should leave.
I'm thinking,
why should I leave my
why?
city? Why should I leave my city?
But I'm saying, why? These are the same people who laughed at Rosie O'Donnell, who said, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go to, and she went to Ireland if Trump wins. And they laughed at her. But these same people turn around and tell me, I have to leave? I want to go, to Florida? To do what? Hang out at Publix every day? Come on, stop it. It's ridiculous.
No, we have to stay and fight for our city. There are a lot of wealthy people here. I'm glad to see people are coming together, taking this very seriously in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Forming coalitions, I'll leave it at that, to fight against this. But you know what? You know what I say? A couple of people have to drop out, and that's got to transfer over.
I like people say, New York, it's a city in decline. You don't even live here.
You know what? I heard that as a kid in the 70s.
You don't even live here. I'll bet you anything. If you walked around most of the time, you don't even know any. If you don't pick up newspapers, you don't know what's going on. You don't see it. You don't.
No, really, the media always tells you everything that's absolutely the worst. With
but it's
subways or rioting.
It's always these people who don't live here. They don't know anything.
There's nothing like New York
and
City.
I'm supposed to go live where? In what? Valdosta, Georgia?
Well, wait a minute.
Austin, Texas? No, but I'm saying, why do I want to? You know what's going on?
Some people, no, listen. Some people were somewhat tough. We're conditioned. We like energy. We like action. Some people like quiet.
No, but
they can't take it because they tell me when they visit.
But what is it if for example?
But I don't tell them to leave where they live.
If Zoran Mamdani is the mayor, how are you going to even? Most people won't even feel it. You don't even know it. You know it if you read, if you understand, budgets and things like that. But I don't understand why.
Well, they'll feel it eventually because this is the test ground to come to your town soon. And all I'll say about him, I can't even say his name because it disgusts me. He and his 27-year-old wife believe in sex workers. Two words we don't use. We use prostituted people forced into the sex trade. They believe that children, it's okay. They say when they grow up. But we know what that means. It's okay. Your body, your choice. It's beautiful. You can be a sex worker. We're going to give you every health benefit. We're going to encourage you. We're going to give you a union. This is what they're telling our youth. Okay?
Somebody says, I think you're mistaken. It was the rich liberals that voted for Mr. Z. No, it was predominantly, believe it or not, younger people.
Young ones.
Let me tell you,
rallied up young ones.
Did you see what they said on CNN? One of the biggest factors that a lot of young people are Democrats, are voting for him or that they like him, is his position on Palestine.
30 and under, right?
Yes, 30 and under. That they did an 80-something point swing from 2012.
I thought it was 7 years ago, but I might
or
be wrong.
twice, or 2007, either 2007, 2012. Anyway,
but it's young people
and 70, right? So when you have the Democratic Party And please, this is not, I don't want to get into the whole APAC, please. But what I'm telling you, the reality is that they love his position because he stood his ground. But all of the Republicans and Democrats said the first thing they were going to do is go to Israel, which is again, I just want to say this because this is not your thing. This is my thing. Okay? Because I don't want to confuse the two. But understand what is happening here. Please do yourself a favor. And I know I'm asking a lot. Look at the specifics. Look at the numbers. Look at the issues. Don't just sit back and kind of get a feel for what they want. Don't just say, well, it's part of the communist. No. Look at what the issues were and why it's important. There is a huge schism, a fracture in the Democratic Party, which I think the Republicans would be smart enough to capitalize upon. That's what I'm saying. Not just, don't let this go. How about AOC? She's from Yorktown, and then she's from the Bronx.
Listen,
see, people hate that stuff. They hate lying.
Can I be honest? I don't. So here in New York, especially, I work with, as you know, many different types of women and men too, that we work on issues of safe housing and trafficking and the laws and the legislation up in Albany. There really are next to nobody that likes AOC. And I'm not kidding.
Nobody.
The women have told me she's never in the neighborhood. We've not seen her at one meeting. She's not answering phone calls and emails. Nothing. She's just kind of an actress type.
And nobody
she's
likes,
kind of a mouth.
I hate to say it, Zoran, because
nobody
remember,
likes him.
The turnout is always historically horrible.
8% in the last race for mayor.
If Curtis Sliwa, I'm sorry to say this, if Curtis Sliwa and Andrew Cuomo drop out, the votes will go to Eric Adams, not the best, but better than this guy, and he'll win. That's what Ackman and other people are trying to push for.
Well, a lot of people are now behind Eric Adams. Another one, can't be trusted.
I am against Zoran. Yep.
But if this is the choice, and we know some of these strong people are behind him, that are business people, and that know what they're doing, and they're coming out of the woodwork to support him, so this other one can't take over, that's where we have to go. And we have to rally up to get everybody else to get out and vote, which I think the voter turnout is going to be a lot higher. But you know what? Nobody has captured on the Republican side, and I'll even throw in the Democratic side, that young audience.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. This Zoran person, okay,
Mm-hmm.
he captured the young ones.
Yep.
So it's no rich liberals, older people. No, it was all this 30 and under that they did a very good campaign. I will give them that.
Oh,
In targeting them. That's what Democrats and Republicans alike don't do enough of. Especially, I'm going to say the Republicans never did it. That's
Absolutely.
my opinion. Never went after the young people, brought them in, cultivated, mentored them to have them rise. So everybody better get with the program here.
Ladies and germs, Lori Cuck says, happy birthday, America, and Mr. and Mrs. L.
Thank you.
I love our country, and we need to help New York find her way. Absolutely, because it's not just New York, it's the country. He was an Obama, basically, pulled out of nowhere, no background, no history. He's worked 3 years in his life.
For his mother, I believe.
For his mother. 3 years, right.
He reminds me of
she, by the
Zelensky
way,
type,
she lives in a $2 million, what is it, a loft in Chelsea or something? So she would be subject to this millionaire's tax.
If this is what it finally takes, remember, after de Blasio, Eric Adams, number one, to get people to stand up, especially the business people who have really an interest in keeping business here, right? If this is what it takes, I'm all for it. We're going to fight this tooth and nail. We're going to get everybody together. People are already coming together about this. This will not happen. This cannot happen. Okay. Remember, this is a cultural center. This is a tourist where people come to the shows and the museums. Every day, what do I tell you when I'm out? So many tourists, because I hear the different languages on the streets. So much going on, so crowded on Fifth Avenue. That is what keeps this city going, and we can't scare, those people will be scared away. So we have to keep this well-oiled machine going. I believe it's going to happen.
Absolutely. Anyway, my friends, I'm just so glad we can be with you today. Let me remind you again, July 19th.
At the cutting room. And
July
also,
19th,
we got the
cutting room.
fireworks coming up in a few hours.
Fireworks tonight. We're going to have it. And 1776 hour.
It means something.
Yeah,
I'm going to save that receipt. I'm going to frame it. 1776, 2025.
My friends, we love you. Thank you so much. And thank you for freedom. Thank you. Lori Cuck, thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for being a part. Don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors.
Thank you, honey.
Don't forget to follow her and make sure. By the way, I've got a lot of good stuff also on Lionel Legal on the Diddy case, breaking that down for you specifically legally. Again, I'm not saying what I like, what I don't like. I'm telling you what happened.
Yeah.
It's like when you do an autopsy of somebody you loved. It's terrible, but let me tell you what happened. Not that I like it. That makes sense to you? It's almost like doing an autopsy of this, because he is the tip of the iceberg.
I'd like to do an autopsy.
If you
Diddy. I'll let that,
let
that go.
If you get him, you'll get the rest of this, because this problem is so pernicious and so systemic.
Yes.
That it starts, number one, with entertainment. Always has been. That's where
We didn't talk about that at all. I mean, the rap music in particular, from my sources, I'm just going to say it. They tell me it is a sex trafficking operation.
Absolutely.
And I'll never believe Diddy could acquire these mansions and these yachts all on his own. Just doesn't happen. Those crappy few songs he had doesn't buy all that.
And I wonder how much of his money is going to be even available after it's been leveraged. That defense is 10.
What do you think that costs? $20 million bucks?
Could be, yeah. They had 9 people, I think 9 people in the defense.
8 people that I know
8
about,
people
but maybe
plus all of the supports that, oh my God.
And it goes on and on and on.
On and on.
Remember, all those civil suits are...
Good
right?
luck with that. Yeah, Busby.
And they're still piling up. I think I heard about 3 new ones
Still
this
piling
week.
up.
So
we're learning about STDs and pregnancies.
Please. Let's celebrate the 4th and not talk about that.
And by the way, if you want to see a great Netflix show, The Poop Cruise.
Honey.
Have you seen that? That is
what a nightmare. It's supposed to be our nation's birthday. Don't talk about that stuff.
And check out the video.
We have to sell
one of the funniest. It makes me laugh. All right, my friends. God bless America. Thank you so much. Here we go. Here's our frame. And thank you, President Trump. I'm so glad he's there.
And our First Lady, Melania Trump, who made a beautiful visit to the Children's Hospital.
Wasn't that something?
To plant flags and the flowers and to do artwork. Then we thank her always for her attention in these matters.
All right, dear friends. Have a great and glorious day. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be watching our fireworks. And don't forget, until we meet again tomorrow, God bless America. Thank you. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dad.